Okay, today I wanted to show you how to clean a kitchen sink. There's no clog in my sink, but it does kind of have some smells from time to time. And so I just want to make sure everything's clean. So I'm going to take this apart and clean it. Now, the reason I need to take it apart, where we don't have to do that as much for the bathroom sink other than the P-trap and the drain cover, is because you require special tools to remove the tops here. And even when you do, sometimes there's things like I have a reverse osmosis system. And so getting past this part right here would not be possible. So I could remove all of this, but I'm just going to remove this arm from the garbage disposal and the P-trap. I could also remove this and clean it, but since it's past where the water is that sits that blocks those smells, I don't think that's any part of the problem. So I'm going to start by removing the P-trap and covering the sewer line. I'm going to start at the top end because that makes it a little bit nicer. Actually, before I do this, let me mark this with some masking tape, which is why I had this, just to know where everything goes back together. Just makes it a little bit easier when you're setting it back up. So mark that there, and then I'm going to take off this part probably doesn't need marked because there's not much other places you can put it, but we'll just mark it anyway. All right, so those are marked now. I start at this top side because it's a little less messy when you start on the top side when you take off the P-trap. So let me take that off. Something's weird with this one. Maybe because of that. No. A lot harder than it should be, but there we go. That was threaded on there weird. To be more careful next time. Okay, so now I'll take off the bottom piece, and you see it does start to leak water. I probably should have got a little bit bigger bowl there, but that's okay. This underneath here is pretty messed up anyway. All right. So now that I have the P-trap off, I got to cover up the sewer line or we're going to get some smells in the house. So I just go like this. And put that cover on. All right, now you can already start to see some of the gross stuff that's built up on here on the inside of the pipes. We're going to clean that off. I'll loosen these both a bit. Okay, now I'm going to take these off. Just a 3/8 for mine to get these little screws off, which allows me to take off this cross arm here. Gotta kind of bring that off, and you see there's some kind of a little bit of gunk in there, and in there we're just gonna get all that off. And so I'm gonna take my drain cleaner here, and I like to put a little dish soap on it. I have this bucket here to wash off this after I clean each component. So I'm just going to put a little dish soap on the brush head here. That helps it get a little bit more of the stuff off of the sides, since a lot of it's not water soluble. All right, you can see that gross stuff on the sides there, and this will just scrape that off. We might need to go through it a couple times, but you can see that kind of going down into the water, and we'll just come, oh yeah, that's gross. That is gross stuff. Probably causing some of that smell. And then I'll just go all right, I'm gonna go through one more time just to get it completely clean. You don't have to do this as much with the bathroom sinks because the bathroom sinks are 1 1/4. These are 1 1/2. And so sometimes it takes a little bit more to get everything off of there. I just want to get it super clean. Now I'm going back up on this one. I wouldn't do that with a bathroom drain because it sometimes like sprays stuff off. Just gonna clean off that end there and the water down here. But I can always take off the brush attachment if I want to. Just easier with these 1 1/2 inch to just go in and out. I'll clean off that end as well. All right, that looks pretty clean. Now I'm gonna do the same thing with the P-trap, but I'm not gonna go around the corner there because that might damage the brush head a little bit. But I will get, and this is even thicker than 1 1/2, so you kind of have to roll it around a little bit. You can see some of that junk coming out. If this is too gross for you, you probably want to wear some gloves, but I've done this enough to where it doesn't bother me too much anymore. Just wash my hands afterwards. All right, so there we go. Looks pretty clean there too. I'm not as concerned about that piece because it's gonna be full of water. This one is gross though. Look at that. Let's get that a little wet. Could add some more dish soap. This one's gonna be a little harder. This is where I might need to use that spiral capability to kind of loosen that up and pull it away, since it's got that little, you can see how the spiral is trapping that gross stuff. There we go, and dumps it all out. So that gets it pretty good. All right, and we'll go down through this side. There's that little cleft there. All right, we'll go down through the bottom now. Clean off this end part. That is pretty gross. All right. All right, let me get this side one more time. All right, let's just get that last little bit. All right, that looks pretty clean. Pretty clean. Now we just need to put it back together. This dripping is because of that reverse osmosis system. Let me put this arm on first because we want to make sure. Actually, looks like we also need to clean this piece here. Use that spiral method to kind of get that out of there. All right, let's put this back together. Put this back on here over that rubber washer. All right, now all right, that looks pretty good. That one's on there. I might need to loosen that back up again if I need to get everything back on. All right, so this one is going to go on like this. First, we need to get it on there. Well, maybe we'll get it on here first. There we go. All right, I'm going to do this cross on first. I don't know if that's a mistake or not, but we'll find out. All right, and then we'll go with this one. All right, once we tighten up that one, then we're ready to put this back on. Finally take the sewer line cover off, and then we get that on there in reverse order. Let me just clean this off real quick. All right, put that on in the reverse order that we did before. So we'll get that on here first. Try and thread this one a little bit better this time. Line it up with our tape there. Need to go back up a little bit. All right, and then don't forget this step. You got to fill that P-trap with water. I guess it doesn't matter which one I go in. We want to check for leaks, but we also want to fill that with water so that there's no smells. All right, I'm looking good. I'm not seeing any leaks yet. Good. Looks like we got everything back together. And so hopefully we'll have fewer smells coming from the sink.